All right, we are live. How's it going, guys? It's Luke Ponzo here once again, back for another live stream. Today, I wanted to do something a little interesting, is do the Saw franchise ranking. We're going to do every single one of them, all 9. So, I thought to do that, I'll bring on one of my good buddies. He's seen all the Saw films like I have. I think we're going to definitely have some big arguments with some of these. But I decided to bring on my good buddy Tyler, aka Mind of a Nerd. How's it going, Tyler?
Hello. I am doing lovely on this Monday evening, hot Monday evening, but I am doing very lovely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I always need some guests to do some stuff like this. So yeah, I did leave a link to his Instagram down below in the description. So go follow him on Instagram and go give him some love. He deserves all your love and support. And also, if you haven't already, what the heck are you waiting for my channel? Hit that subscribe button down below on my channel. Also, make sure you click on that bell icon so that way you can get notified of every single video on the channel. And also, if you guys are enjoying this stuff, hit that thumbs up. So, I would say that the bottom 2 were no-brainers, but some of these were honestly kind of toss-ups, in my opinion. Like, how was ranking? How were you ranking your list? Like, how difficult was it for you to rank your list?
I'd say the top 5 were easy, and then the bottom whatever were kind of difficult for me because of which ones I don't like the most. Because there's quite a few of these that I genuinely hate with a passion. But I think the top was probably the hardest because there's actually quite a few of these that I genuinely like a lot.
Yeah, I honestly like more of these movies than I hate them. There are definitely going to be some interesting takes here. Just going to get that out of the way. We're going to have some interesting takes here on the stream. So, without any further ado, we're just going to get started with our stream. Also, really quick, got to say what's up to Movies and Train Studios here in the chat. Very happy to have him here. Mitchell, the Movie Man, also one of my fellow subscribers here on my channel. How's it going? But with all that said, we're going to get started with number 9 of the Saw franchise. So, Tyler, what do you got?
My number 9 is the movie that back when Spiral was coming out, I reviewed all of these in a row. So basically, I was watching through all of the Saw movies like non-stop. Like I'd finish one, pop in another one immediately. It's not good for your health. I'm warning you. So by this point in the series, I was done. Number 9 for me is Saw 5. This
Yep, we
movie,
do have different ones.
I don't know what it is. I just it really irked the shit out of me. It really just it pissed me off. For once, this is where my issues start. The game, the traps, I guess, were not all that good to me, and the whole scenario with these people that they were in, I didn't really give a shit because they didn't really set it up that much. And my favorite character in the movie, which I forgot who it was one of the smart guys. He dies really early in the movie. So I was like, well, the one person I gave a shit about died immediately. So
yeah,
I don't really care. And then they do the whole God, what's the guy's name? The guy who takes on the new Jigsaw?
I completely blanked out on it, honestly. That's so much I really do not like Saw 5.
They do the whole it's like a whole cat and mouse game, and I don't care. And then the end, they kill off the main detective guy that's supposed to be the good guy, and it's just okay. And it's that's your big what the hell twist. It's just Hoffman, that was his name, Hoffman.
Yeah, there you go.
They do. This was the first start of the whole Hoffman era of Saw, and it's hated by 90% of the community because it's just garbage, and it's just not interesting at all. I think one of the only interesting things is the end where they have to do that trap where they have to give the blood to get out, but then they both die anyway. Other than that, I really don't like Saw 5 at all. It was that to the point where I was just like, I didn't want to watch these movies anymore. I think one of my favorite parts was probably the head trap where he has to stab
I
himself to
oh
get the water out. I like that one. But
yeah, I remember that one. But let me get into the chat really quick before I get to my number 9. Got to say what's up to my buddy AJ. How you doing, my friend? He says Saw is my favorite horror franchise. Nice. Not gonna lie. Movies and Train Studios says I still haven't seen Spiral, but I'm gonna try to watch it soon. You definitely should. It's honestly really good.
it's good. I
Um,
liked it.
yeah, and Mitchell the Movie Man agrees with you on some stuff about Saw 5. AJ says Mark Hoffman takes over as Jigsaw.
That was before I found out what it was.
Yep. You are right. We kind of discussed this a little bit before we hopped on. Our number 9s are different. Mine is Saw the Final Chapter. In my opinion.
That's mostly everyone's.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest problems with this film is that it basically was a carbon copy of the first film, basically recreating some of the traps that were famously known in the first movie, and just using them like even if they didn't kill anybody, they were basically just used just to kill someone, so that way they know how it actually happens. Especially the reverse bear trap. That was one. Honestly, I did give this movie a half out of 5 on my letterbox, but I guess it's like a slightly redeeming quality is actually seeing the reverse bear trap again, like actually opening somebody's mouth by just ripping it open or anything like that. But the characters are god awful. The script is terrible. Most of the traps don't really work for me, and also, and just like in general, like the movie just does not work as a whole. And this is definitely my least favorite of the franchise, in my opinion. Just, ugh, man, I can't watch that film anymore. Like, seriously. But at least we got that one out of the way. So, number 8. What do you got?
My number 8 is Saw the Final Chapter, or Saw 3D.
There we go.
The reason that I have this above Saw 5 is because it came at a point where this was the end of the franchise. Obviously, Jigsaw came after this, but this was like at the end of this long, huge continuity, and I was just like, it can't get any worse. It cannot get any worse. And maybe I lowered my expectations. I walked in, it's just a mess, but I laugh at it, at how dumb it is. I laugh at the stupid 3D gimmick kills, which are just garbage. The fake blood, which is pink for whatever reason, which I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I forgot to touch on that for some odd reason. I forgot to touch on that.
I don't understand why the blood was pink. I don't get that. But
I don't get it.
And also, the third act, the big final twist for this franchise was so predictable. I was like, of course it's him. Who else would it be? I was like, bro, come on. But I get enjoyment out of some of the kills because they're dumb. One kill that I like is the end kill where he has to hook himself and try to get out of it because it plays on what his fake story was that he got out of that trap. So then Hoffman put him in that trap. I like that. Also, I don't know what it is, but Hoffman in this one, I kind of like it because he's like just killing people and running around and being like, a sneaky guy. I don't know. I feel like at this point, I was desperate for anything, and it gave me a little bit of something. And I honestly, it's hilarious at times, and the ending just made me screech with laughter. I was like, of course it's him. Who else would it be?
Yeah.
As soon as he shows up, you're just like, oh, so that's gonna be the big twist. Okay.
It just feels like the twist at the end of this movie just feels like the lamest Shyamalan twist you can possibly think of. In all honesty, it feels like the lamest Shyamalan twist. But Mitchell says, I don't really remember Saw the Final Chapter that well. It's very forgettable. It's very forgettable. But my number 8, our list actually kind of swapped. My number 8 is Saw 5. I do have a couple of redeeming qualities with this movie. I did like some of the traps. I really liked the water tank, like you touched on. I really did
Mhm.
like that trap. But I always thought the coolest trap was the pendulum. But after a while, like when I really looked at it, I was like, you were gonna get killed no matter what. So like, what was the point of this trap? Like, no matter like which side he pressed, he was gonna get killed no matter what. When you
Yeah, and
look at
that's
it,
why people don't like the Hoffman era because the traps are unwinnable. So it kind of defeats the purpose of Jigsaw. You know.
yeah. So like, but the reason why I have this above Saw the Final Chapter is because I could watch this one over the final chapter any day of the week and honestly not feel as tortured as I do. No pun intended. Because basically what they do to these characters is absolute torture in these movies. So what else can I say? But the characters were very unlikable. The traps are honestly some amongst the worst of the franchise in my opinion. But I just cannot bear with Saw 5. Like I said, the only trap I really liked was the head tank trap, and the guy that was actually in that trap was actually really smart. Like he he
Mm-hmm.
put a hole in his he put a hole in his neck with a pen, so that way he can breathe.
Yeah.
That is actually very very clever in my opinion. But the rest of the movie is god awful. Like it's definitely nowhere near as bad as Saw 5, as I would say, but or the final chapter.
You mean Saw the Final Chapter?
Yeah, what was I talking about? I was just talking about Saw 5. Gosh. God, it's just been a
That's
long
what
day.
talking about garbage gets you.
Yep. Um. Anyways, let's keep chugging right along. Number 7. What do you got?
My number 7 is Saw 6. It for me,
Oh,
I know everyone like praises this one a little bit more than the other ones. Again, just like Saw 5, I was like, can this shit just be over? Like, it was like what was the storyline that it was like healthcare, like someone screwed someone over, and it was like, dude, who cares? Like, you were focusing on Hoffman, and that part I guess is interesting. And Hoffman does have one cool scene where he like fucking murders like 6 people in a room, which I like that scene. And honestly, you could have just ended the franchise with this movie because you had him in the bear trap. And literally, when I knew there was more movies after this, but when he put his head in the fucking wall and the bear trap didn't kill him, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, bro?" I
right.
legit, it actually irked the shit out of me. Actually irked the shit out of me, and I was like, I. But there was one trap in this, which is one. Actually, there were a couple of good traps in this. The one with the people hanging, I liked that one quite a bit. And the merry-go-round or whatever that one was, where
The
he had to
shotgun
pick
carousel.
who
I
died.
love
Yeah,
the shotguns carousel. I love that one.
that's a good one. But other than that, I didn't really give a shit. It's just boring. It's messy. The only thing I will remember this movie for, other than the traps, is that Roderick from Derry River Wimpy Kid was in this movie, and he caused everything to fucking happen.
Yup. Yeah, but I definitely do got Saw 6 higher on my list, but I'll get more into it when I get it on my list. But I gotta say what's up to my buddy Reagan in the chat. He says haven't seen any of the Saw franchise, but he just wanted to stop by and say hi really quick. So what's up, Reagan? Because apparently he's not allowed to watch any rated R movies yet. So just just saying. But yeah. But my number 7, like I said, I Saw 6 is a little bit higher on my list. My number 7 is actually Saw 4,
Mm.
in my opinion. Um, to me, besides Saw 5 or the final chapter, I really think they have some of the most boring characters in the entire franchise. The script, honestly, with this one still does not work with me, like with any of the characters. Um, let me look at my letterbox really quick. I gave this one a 2 stars out of 5 with my ranking. I gave Saw 5 a 1 out of 5 and a half out of 5 for the final chapter. But I still got myself really bored with this one. The only trap that I really find memorable with the fourth one is the ice trap, where basically the ice like all the way comes in and then boom, like basically crushes the guy's head
Yeah.
like into a million pieces. That was like one of the only traps I really could find memorable with this movie. But again, poor characters, poor script. Just I don't know. Saw 4 is really not for me, honestly. And well, because I'm a completionist, I have the Blu-ray for Saw 4. I found this like cheap at a. I found this like at a flea market. I got this for part of a 5 for 10 Blu-ray deal. So, and there was nothing else that I really wanted, so I figured I'd pick up Saw 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just just not for me, honestly. But Reagan's kind of touching on my profile pick right now. It is Scott Pilgrim, so that was kind of like his profile pick on Letterboxd at one point. So let's see, number 6. Think you got a hot take in here?
No. Saw 4. Um,
There it is.
Again, this is where I was losing patience. What little patience I had, they were just. I found this movie insanely boring. I think the worst Saw movies are the ones that are boring. I just when
Yes.
you have a Saw movie that is boring, it's just awful because the movies themselves aren't even that good anyway, even when they're amazing. Well, except for my number one. But for
Yeah.
me, it's just when it's boring, it is so tedious. And it actually pissed me off because I was really frustrated with where they were going with the storyline in terms of Donnie Wahlberg's character because I liked his story from Saw 2, and you'll see why
Yes.
later. But I really liked that a lot. And I was really disappointed that they really just did not do anything with him at all. And then this movie, when he finally shows up, he's dead instantly. And I was just like, okay, thank you
Oh
for that.
man.
And then the whole thing at the end where the big lesson that the guy has to learn is like, oh, don't rush in through doors.
Right. But
Okay.
like seriously, and plus this one honestly comes as no surprise because it is directed by a series veteran, Darren Lynn Bousman. It honestly comes as no surprise that he honestly directed some of the more boring Saw films. Like this is honestly the most boring one he directed in my opinion. But the other
Mm-hmm.
two, I think the other two that he directed, like or three, I think actually. Yeah, it was three because I
He
still
did
got
Spiral
those.
too.
Yeah, I know he did. He did direct Spiral. I know that. It's just we haven't gotten to that yet. But my my number 6, like I said, John's probably gonna hate me for this from first replace, but this is actually where I put Saw 2.
Really?
Yes. In my own personal opinion, I hated the characters in this movie. They were just absolutely idiotic. Like, honestly, the most idiotic in the entire Saw franchise, just in my own personal opinion. Like, especially with the needle pit trap. Like, no one was like risking to like actually dive in there and find the antidote. Like, basically, one of the people part of that just like pushed the girl in and then just made her try to find the antidote, which I thought was freaking stupid. Like, you can just sacrifice yourself and actually try to get it yourself instead of just pushing someone in just to get it for you.
Yeah. I'll talk about that movie much later. But that's definitely a hot take between us because I definitely don't have that movie anywhere near where you have it at all for the
I
ranking.
gave it a 3.5 out of 5 on a letterbox, which is actually a B in my book. I
Yeah.
still like Saw 2, but the characters are absolutely very idiotic. Probably the
Hmm.
most they're honestly the most idiotic for me and the Saw franchise. But just personally speaking, I gotta say what's up to Wolfgang Music and Video in the chat. He still hasn't seen any of the Saw films. You should. You gotta check out some of them. Skip
At least the first one.
5. Yeah, at least the first one. I would also check out Spiral. Spiral's not bad. Reagan says favorite movie that everyone hates. Welcome to Marwen is the movie that everybody hates, but I actually really like it. What about you, Tyler?
I would have to say Speed Racer. I It's not my favorite movie, but it's a movie that I really like love watching a lot, and everyone shits on it. And I honestly think I said this the other day when we were talking, doing a watch along with these guys. If the effects were better, the movie would be respected, and you can quote me on that.
Right.
That's my honest
Exactly.
opinion.
Yep. And he says he'll definitely check out the first one. Um, you should. The first one is absolute gold because James Wan is a master at horror. He really is.
Yes, he is.
Um, he definitely is a master at horror. He also asks a movie that you hate but everyone loves. That's a good question because there are a lot of films that I'm mostly side of the majority on these movies most of the time. But there are some films that I don't get all the hype for, like Malcolm and Marie. I thought that film was just okay, even though a lot of people seemed to love it, and I was like, really?
I didn't love it. I think I gave it a 7. I thought it was a good movie, but I feel like it had a bit of an identity crisis where it was two movies that were meshed into one, that it kept going back and forth, and it really didn't know what it wanted to be. But I still really enjoyed it for what it was.
I think it felt a bit too
Um,
cliched to me, honestly. Like with the way where it's like the way they just like keep screwing up and then just coming back and apologizing, making out. I feel that's a bit too cliche for my taste because it reminds me of like real life relationships where it's like they just come back and apologize. It's like okay, you can't just like apologize. Like if it's like if you really screwed up, you should just be done by that. Just forget, just like not just like apologize about it. Like, but you do you. I mean, if that's what makes you happy. I mean, go for it.
yeah, but the acting in that movie was fantastic. Zendaya absolutely killed that, and John David Washington was amazing too. Um, a movie that I hate that everyone loves. Um, hmm, I don't want to say everyone, and I don't want to say I don't hate. I don't want to say I hate it either, but I don't necessarily like it. Is Birds of Prey? That's to me.
That is
I don't like that movie at all. I've watched it five times, given it every single fair chance. I even reviewed it on my page and gave it the most fair review I've given any movie. I don't like that movie. It's just it's come to a point where I'm just like, it's not for me. I've watched it 5 times and tried to like it. It's just not for me. But yeah, that would
I get
probably be
that.
the only movie to me.
I actually really enjoy Birds of Prey. I mean, I got the Blu-ray back there on my shelf. Ewan McGregor's Black Mask just like
I
perfect.
love him. He's my favorite part of the whole movie. He makes
Absolutely.
me like it as much as I do.
Exactly. Like he's like the example of like he's like the right example of a villain because he's such a jerk. Like, and you get it. Like you get his like part of the story.
Mhm.
Wolf Game of Music says Jumper is a movie that I love that everyone hates. I think that was Doug Liman, if I remember right. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, neither have I. But speaking of Doug Liman, I just saw a shitty movie directed by him by the name of Chaos Walking. So that's fun.
I personally liked it. I thought it was fine. I mean, I didn't love it, but
I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a fucking mess.
I ask zodiac signs. I'm not going to answer that question. Um, yeah, it was Doug Liman. Okay, thank you. Thank you for correcting me there, Wolfgame. Reagan's doing a little profile pic. I think it's pretty cool from what I see right here. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, looks good.
But enough of all that. Let's move on to number 5. What do you got?
1 second. Let me get it. I said Saw 3. From here on out, these are movies that I would rewatch. So, Saw 3 is kind of a disappointment because there are good things and there are bad things. For one, I like the story in the sense that it's about this guy who lost his son and he's going through everyone that caused it, and he's getting the chance to kill them or save them. But the thing that irks me about this movie is every time it happens. So, like, for example, the ice kill. The traps are great, by the way. I love them in this
Yes.
movie. But my issue with it is, okay, so like the ice scene happens and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna kill her, whatever. And then right when she's about to die, he'll be like, oh no, wait, I want to save her now. Excuse me. And
Yeah, like what?
it's like, well, it's too late now, you dick. She's dead.
Yeah.
And there was another kill like that too, where I was like, well, it's too late now. But the traps are fucking great. It has probably the best trap in the series with the rotator, the limb turner.
The rack trap. The rack
Yeah, the
trap.
rack
That's what it
trap.
is.
Fantastic. But then there's a stupid moment in that kill where he goes for the key and he just accidentally kills the guy he saved before. So it was like, so why did you save him if you were just gonna kill him? I don't know.
Oh
And
God! But
I kind of like the ending, how it led back into Saw 2. That ending, or was that Saw? I don't remember.
I
Was
think it
Saw
was
4 the
probably.
ending where it led into this one? Like, because Saw 4 was a
I
prequel and then it led into this one?
I think it was probably Saw 4, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't watched Saw 4 in a while.
I don't remember. Oh, no. The ending with this one was that Amanda shot the girl, and then he shot Amanda, and that led to a lot of other things happening. Point is, I like that ending. And this
Yeah.
is the movie where Jigsaw dies, actually.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool. The effects are great. I think the surgery scene is fantastic effects wise. I think it's great. Um,
Still there? You're kind of cutting out. Okay, there you go.
Hello?
There you are.
Okay,
You're
we're
back.
good?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh boy. I'm sorry, my internet is terrible. Um, what was I saying? I was saying something about the story.
I think.
The story is a bit messy. That's why my only real issue is. But I love seeing Amanda, all like psychotic. She's one
Yep.
of my favorite characters in the series. But yeah, that's where I have it. Number 5.
I got Saw 3 a little bit higher here on my list, but I didn't forget to show you that I actually have the DVD right here for Saw 2 with this little really cool clear slipcover. And then when you do it like this, you can have this little disc of the of Jigsaw. It's
That's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I got that. I got that at an antique shop of all places. So that was pretty awesome. But my number 5, I rewatched this one recently. This is actually where I put Spiral.
Mm.
So I did actually see this one back when it first came out, back in May. I liked it. I mean, I didn't like enjoy it as much as I do now. It's a 3.5 for me right now, but it's just like I didn't enjoy it as much like when I first watched it. I gave it like a B minus in my review. I I gave it another shot since because a friend of mine gave me the code for the 4K edition for Spiral. I'm not gonna lie, the 4K transfer honestly kind of made it better.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks pretty good. I think this has some of the best traps of the Saw franchise, in my opinion. Spiral has some of the best traps of the franchise, especially that opening trap with the train scene, where the guy has his tongue clipped.
Yeah.
That was one of the. I think that's honestly like top 5 Saw traps for me. Honestly, top 5 Saw traps. Me personally, my big complaint with this movie is that I wish Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock were on screen more often together rather than just have it be told through flashbacks. that was honestly my big negative of this movie is that it's told mostly through flashbacks when you see Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock on screen together, and it just was not doing it for me. Like Chris Rock is a bit hit or miss for me, like with his detective and his regular Chris Rockisms. Like with his like straight detective kind of thing, I think it was kind of my opinion. But when he's like comedic Chris Rock, that's when I really think he really does start to shine,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But I don't know. Samuel L. Jackson did do a good job of this one also, but I don't know. Just there were things that I think really could have been improved with this movie. Like I said, with the teaming up with Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, just I want them to be more together in this movie. That's what I really wanted. And plus, it comes as no surprise because this one is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, like you said before, a series veteran. Um, but this is definitely one I would honestly watch more than Saw 2 because I feel like it caters back to like what the original film did was with the crime cop element a little bit more. But there are times when I feel like it borrows a bit too much off of 7,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I think it borrows a little bit too much off of 7, but at least it's not the film that tries to like completely redo 7. I mean, I'm looking at you, The Little Things. That movie completely redid 7, but I still enjoy that film, but it just completely redid 7.
I didn't like that movie at all.
I mean, I basically kind of blind by this when it came out, but I didn't hate it.
I don't know. It didn't really do it for me. I thought it was a waste of resources. That was just me.
I get that. But thanks for coming out, Reagan. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope we catch the replay. Um, but yeah, Spiral. I would definitely buy this movie. You know, just I'm a completionist, so and this is definitely one of the better Saw sequels in my opinion. Definitely, like I said, definitely top 5 for me.
Yeah.
But but we're almost at the halfway point. Number 4. What do you got, Tyler?
Number 4 for me is Spiral. Um,
There we go.
for me, this was a huge surprise. I walked into this with such low expectations. I didn't think the trailers were that good at all. I was like, this is gonna be so terrible. This is gonna be a waste of my time. It's not gonna be that good. And maybe that made me like it more because I really dug it. I thought the traps were really good. The wax trap is great.
Yes, I forgot to touch on that one
Um,
too.
the I dug the vibe of it. I like that it was more the cop side more than the horror side. That was just me. I liked that. Where the and I liked the ending too. Even though the twist was predictable, I did like the ending and where they set it up. I'm digging that. And if we do get a sequel, I'm gonna welcome it. Where the movie stumbles for me is I feel like it has good pacing, but that's also its issue is that it for me it moves a little bit too fast. Um they kill his partner and it's supposed to be this big like oh no moment and then immediately his boss is in another trap and it's like but wait I'm still reflecting on that like you gotta let
Right.
it breathe a little bit. You can't just hit me with one thing and then another and another really fast. You gotta let me breathe a little bit. And also the twist was I don't want to. For me, it wasn't insanely predictable like everyone said it was. I was like, oh my god, but I thought it was a good twist and. Also, I love the trap with the broken glass. That was pretty cool
Yup. I
too.
like that one too. Really did like that one.
Um, but I don't know. I thought it was really fun. Saw me, and if Chris is gonna be more involved in these, I'm gonna welcome it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to any more with Chris Rock in these new Saw films. I'm definitely not opposed to that. I mean, this is definitely one of the Saw films that will definitely make you look forward to more. Like if you actually are game with the franchise. So, but yeah, I already talked about Spiral, but that was his thoughts on it. Um, Number 4 might come off as a bit of a surprise for everybody here in the watching this. But number 4 is actually where I put Jigsaw. So I I rated this one a little bit higher on my letterbox. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Um, and
Mhm.
that might be a little bit too generous on my part, but I still enjoyed the movie for what it was because it was very self-aware of being another Saw film. It was just this is the only one of the franchise that was directed by the Spirit brothers. Yeah, this one was directed by the Spirit brothers, who later on did the crappy Winchester movie. Like, again, no offense to anyone that likes Winchester. I don't like it. But
Never saw that.
but
Mm.
I think if I remember correctly, the Spirit brothers also did Predestination with Ethan Hawke. Haven't I actually, that one I have not seen, but been hearing a lot of good things. But Jigsaw, I really did enjoy some of the opening scene of this movie. But like when it really like gets into the traps, I really think it starts to really pick up from there, in my opinion, because I think the opening scene kind of slows this movie down in some regards. But when it gets to the traps, I really think it really starts to just become like a high end from there, in my opinion. But there were some traps that I really do think were a little bit hokey, especially like the first trap that you see. Like I think the back kind of shows you right here just a little bit. Where they have like these little buckets on their heads.
Mhm.
That trap didn't really do it for me because it felt like they were going through like multiple stages apparently, and I don't know, it just wasn't really doing it for me. But I definitely do like the laser neck trap. That's definitely my favorite trap of
Mhm.
the whole movie, and definitely you do see that trap a lot in photos. Whenever you really search up this movie, Jigsaw, you will definitely see that trap because it probably is the most popular trap in the movie. If I can predict which one's the more popular, but definitely there were better characters in this movie that I think than Saw 2. In my opinion, definitely some better characters, and I honestly think it had a better story, in my opinion, than Saw 2 did. But if um if I wasn't too generous on my part, I would have had Spiral a little bit higher. I would have had Spiral at this spot than Jigsaw, but it was a couple years ago when I first saw Jigsaw, so I have the Blu-ray, so I am gonna try to watch it again eventually, just maybe to see if my thoughts are updated or anything. But but yeah, I do enjoy Jigsaw for what it is, and I'm pretty sure you got a little bit higher on your list.
Mhm.
So all right, let's just keep chugging along. Number 3, what do you got?
This list is funny because it's like you talk about one, and then
We just like go to the
I
other.
have it the next. So number 3 is Jigsaw for me. Um, don't worry, we're gonna stumble at number 2 and number 1, but
Yes, we definitely are.
Jigsaw for me was like not. This is the scenario of Jigsaw for me when I started watching it. It's like not eating for days, and it's the first meal you've had in days. That's Jigsaw for me. It was because I had to sit through Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 shitty bad movies. And I was like, please, please let this be fucking good. And I actually really dug it. I think I love I really loved what they did with Tobin Bell here. I loved
Yes.
that. When they revealed he was alive, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? How?" but then, but then when they revealed what it actually was, I was like, "That is great. I love that." And I actually dig some of the characters. I like the surgeon that's with the guy. I thought she was a really cool character, and even though they didn't do it, if they were setting up the fact that she was a Jigsaw copycat, I would have been like, okay. And I actually thought, and I was actually thinking when I went to go see Spiral, I was like, if they revealed that the new Jigsaw copycat is her, I would be so behind it. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Nope.
But I think the traps are pretty cool. The sand pit trap I really like that kill, and it's actually kind of intense. The way it starts though is really stupid, but as it gets better, as it moves along, it gets better. The opening trap, I know Luke doesn't like it. I kind of dig it because it's kind of a way back into Saw because there was a pretty big time gap from when final chapter and this came out, and the final kill before they revealed the big twist, what I thought was hilariously awesome when she is like the shotgun fucking shoots her in the face. I was like, that is awesome. I loved it. Listen, I'm sick in
Yes.
the head, and when people get killed in a funny way that they deserve it, it's just funny to me.
Yeah,
But
that's hilarious.
I also loved the ending. I loved the final twist that, it was like a whole time shifting movie where, you thought it was after Saw 7, but it's actually like way before everything. I loved that. And I thought it was pretty clever. And the final kill is great. The laser kill, that's fucking awesome.
Oh
And
yes.
overall, I know people didn't really like this that much. I really dig it. I don't know if it's because it's one of the newer movies, and we both have the newer movies higher up. But for me, I really dug it. And this is one of the few in this franchise that if someone said, would you rewatch Jigsaw? I'd be like, yeah, immediately, no question, because I really
Yeah,
dig it.
I really dig it too, man. But yeah, I definitely did say that the opening trap just didn't really click with me. It just kept on going like multiple stages for like 10 minutes or something like that. It just wasn't really my kind of thing. It was just like just one trap and be done, just like that.
Hmm.
But in my opinion, yeah, I definitely do agree with what you're saying about Jigsaw. I do get a kick out of it. Um, I think the biggest complaint with other people is that it's just another Saw film that came out 7 years after the final chapter did. Like it's just completely another Saw film that just completely just relies on the traps. That was basically everybody's complaint about the first Purge, like where it was just another Purge movie and just it didn't even add anything new.
I haven't seen that yet because not really too big on the Purge movies. I've seen 1, 2, and the first Purge, the fourth one, the
That's
prequel.
that's what I'm talking about. That was the first Purge.
Oh, I thought you said the Forever Purge. My bad.
No, I didn't say the Forever
Um,
Purge. I haven't seen it, but I do. I'm looking forward to picking it up on 4K when it comes out because I'm curious to check it out.
not me. Have fun, because it did not. I thought it looked like the biggest piece of shit that was gonna come out this year.
Why more than Boss
No.
Baby 2 or something?
Well, I wasn't actually planning on seeing that until my brothers wanted to watch it, and I saw that it was free on Peacock, and I was like, you know what? It's free.
Yeah,
How bad
but
could it truly be?
I can promise you that the Ice Road will be a lot worse than the
Worse
Forever
than you
Purge.
think.
I can guarantee you that. I mean,
The
I
what?
haven't seen the Ice Road will be worse than the Forever Purge. They came out like around the same weekend
I still yet
apparently.
to see that.
Like they came out around the same weekend apparently. But let's just keep chugging right along. My number 3 is coincidentally Saw 3. I know we just talked about this a little bit earlier, but to me, Saw 3 is by far like top tier traps for the Saw franchise, in my opinion. I love the rack trap, like he touched on earlier. I also, according to also to Watch Mojo's list, their original top 10 Saw traps, their number 1 trap was the Angel trap in this for this movie, and I'm not gonna lie, that Angel trap is pretty kick ass
What's
in my
the
opinion.
angel trap? I forgot.
Where basically, I think it was Amanda, if I'm not mistaken. She had a device that was hooked to her rib cage, and so basically, after the videotape was done, she had 1 minute to get the key, which is apparently in a jar of acid.
Oh yeah. That's a good one too. Totally forgot about that.
I think that was probably top 3 for me, coincidentally, because it's Saw 3. But I actually really do like that trap quite a bit. It's very unique. It kind of does remind me a little bit of the first bear trap in the first movie, but apparently it kind of feels like that it actually works this time around.
Hmm.
So, but Saw 3 had some more likable characters than the second one did. my opinion, had some more likable characters. It still did kind of rely on more of the traps and gore factor, like the second one did. But in my opinion, like I still like what they brought into the story. I enjoyed a lot of the traps. I think more of the traps in this movie are among some of my favorites of the franchise, just in my own personal opinion. And it was pretty cool that Darren Lynn Bousman took on another Saw film after he did Saw 2. Um, I'm not gonna lie though, he is kind of hit and miss with me though for Saw films. He is kind of hit and miss with his direction, in my opinion. Like with it, like the way he kind of directs is kind of hit or miss, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think it might come off with like some of the either the color grading or just the editing in general, in my opinion. But to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like Saw 3, and I also really like that cover. It's a clever way to put out a 3, where it was like, um, where they put like 3 teeth on there to make it like a third or something like that. I thought that was actually pretty cool, like just generally speaking. And I think he is there. I don't know. Let me add him back really quick.
I
Something
am
happened
so
there, man?
sorry. I don't know what happened. It literally just shut the whole thing down. That was weird.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I really like that cover for Saw 3, where basically it has like 3 teeth, just putting out the number 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually really, I think that might be my favorite cover of the Saw franchise, besides the poster for Spiral.
Not the
In my opinion,
theatrical one, but the one with the where he's walking in the street and you see the spiral in the street light. I like that
like
one.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that one. Yeah, but I don't really like that 4K cover though. I honestly don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with those colors.
Like that color grading with like green background. That's weird. But
Mm-hmm.
we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, my friend. Number 2.
All right. I gotta make sure I'm a good distance away from everyone. That way I don't get the pitchforks and the torches thrown at me. Um, Number 2 for me is the original Saw.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
Listen, these
All
movies.
right.
Listen, these movies for me are like this. Okay, I love them both, and you know what my number one is. Obviously, I love them both,
I do.
but there's something about Saw 2, which I just spoiled my number one. I don't give a shit. There's something about Saw 2 that I hold over Saw 1. I really dig Saw 1. I understand what it did for the horror community, and I love the twist. It's fantastic. The very few kills that we get are great. The little reveals that we get in the movie are great. But for me, there's just something missing from this movie. And I don't think it's actually as good as a lot of people hold it in this regard to me. It is a good movie, a really good one, but there are problems with it. Now, some of that can be thrown to the budget because James Wan and Lee Winnell didn't have the biggest budget, but um, there are problems with it. The editing to me is I'm not really a fan of that hyper, really fast editing. I think it's ridiculous, and they use it a lot in the series, which annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Some of the acting is not good at all. Carrie Elways, I don't like him as an actor in this. He gets some of his lines are pretty hilarious. Um, Lee Winnell does what he can, but it's just there's a lot of issues, but I think the good does outweigh the bad. I still think the twist is one of the best in horror. When you get that iconic theme for the very first time, and the very iconic line at the end, and I think it's a really good movie, but to me, I don't hold it in high regards as everyone else does. That's just me.
Yeah, I totally get that, but to me, honestly, it really was the one that really kicked off the franchise in a good way. And I know the budget for this movie was not really all that good, but hey, I mean, I just feel like this one was a little bit ahead of itself with its concept. I think it was a little bit ahead of itself when you really look at it. I think it's kind of like I'm just saying it's kind of ahead of its time. But but yeah, I think you were waiting for me to talk about this one. My number two is Saw 6.
I didn't even realize you had it this high.
I just got to be honest with you about this one. I think this has some like besides Saw 3 and Spiral, I think this has some of the best traps of the whole franchise, especially the shotgun carousel, which is like easily like top two favorite traps. Like I really love the shotgun carousel because it's so intense and it literally makes you. There might be times when you really cannot picture yourself in that situation, which obviously you shouldn't,
Yeah.
because like if you picture yourself in that situation, it'd be terrifying because you do not know if you're going to be the one that's actually getting off because there are 6 people that ride the carousel. Like spoilers for anyone that has not seen Saw 6, just point that out. But 6 people ride the carousel, only 2 can get off. So the ones that are selected that are in front of the shotgun barrel, they will be hit with a shotgun. But man, like I just find that trap of the movie honestly the most intense of the franchise in my opinion. But this movie really does do a great job of like executing the traps a little bit more and actually sticking to that gore factor. And I honestly liked how this one was not directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, even though the director of this one did make the worst Saw film, but this one makes me forgive him for making that crappy movie. If I'm being honest, this one makes me
I
forgive him
don't
for
know.
it.
I don't know.
That's just me. I honestly really got a kick out of Saw 6. I mean, it has some of the better traps in my opinion, and it just has a better vibe. Like I know it relies too much on the gore, like basically all these movies do, except for Spiral and the one we're gonna get to in a little bit for my list. But I think the traps were handled better than some of the other films I talked about, and I think they're some of my favorites of the entire franchise. And I did like some of the characters of this one. In my opinion, I think it was like a better written film than some of the others. But I will say though that there are definitely a couple of problems like with that the ending trap. Didn't really care for it. And there were some choices made in the movie that just weren't clicking with me. But other than that, I really do enjoy Saw 6. But my friend, the time has finally come. Like, tell us why you think Saw 2 is your favorite Saw movie.
So Saw 2 to me has the best structure. And what I mean by that is I love the structure of having all those people in the house and they have to figure out how to get out. I love that. I love that whole aesthetic. I love the scenarios that they get into, and I just love movies like that where it puts a group of people. It's kind of like Jigsaw, where they put a group of people in one area and they can't get out, and they have to figure out how to get out. And there's all these puzzles and stuff everywhere. I really dig that. Some of the traps for me are awesome. I love the needle kill shit.
The
Just
Needle Pit.
yes, I oof that kill is the one kill in or the trap where I'm just I start squirming because I'm just like, oh my, like all those needles in her arms and stuff. It's gross.
I know,
Um,
man. Like, wow.
the the furnace kill, even though how we get there is stupid, it is good and I like it. Um, the other one that I like is the one I forgot what it was where the girl like puts her hand in something and then it gets locked.
I forgot what that one was too, but
Oh, it was like that she put her hand in like it was a glass and it had like razor blades. and
Yeah.
it's a good trap, but it makes her look like an idiot because she goes, "Oh, I'm gonna put my hand in one," and then she goes, "Oh, I see my hand is in trouble, so let me put my hand in the other one." Like, what did you
Yeah, why
think
you
was
got
gonna happen?
right? Like that was what really bogged this movie down for me was the character's stupidity.
Yeah, the characters aren't the best, but I still,
They're
even though
just
this is still my favorite situation of the Saw series. Putting all these people in a big house, they have to figure out how to get out. And I also love Donnie Wahlberg in this one, and I love his story with getting his son back. I love that. I love Jigsaw being on his deathbed saying, "Listen, I'm about to die. You could do whatever the fuck you want to me. I'm one good blow away from death at this point. So you can do what you want, but you're not gonna get anything back." And I love the ending, and the twist is fucking awesome. I love it so much. It is my favorite twist of the series, even more than the first one, because there's so much that happens on top of them revealing that Amanda is the new or the associate to Jigsaw, and also them just revealing that in general. I love that. But yeah, Saw 2, I remember watching the first one for the first time and really digging it. But then I watched the second one and I was like, man, that was fucking awesome. And I want to go and watch, I want to keep going. It was, even though the first one was really good, this one made me really want to keep going. I was like, wow, that was really good. So that is why I have Saw 2 as my number one Saw movie. But it is basically closely tied for Saw 1 as my favorite. So
yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I think this film, but we haven't touched on the Venus flytrap. We haven't
what
touched
is
on
the
that one.
Venus flytrap? What trap is that?
I think there was like this like thing that like this guy had to like really like stick in his eye or something like that. Like I think it was like a little bit of like a drill or something like that. I don't remember how it works honestly, but
I don't
the
remember that
character was an
trap.
idiot. But I'm just not gonna lie, the character was an idiot.
Yeah, the
But
characters are not the brightest. And the other kill that I really like because it's just funny is when he looks in the doorway after they tell him, "Don't look in the peephole." First thing he does, looks in the peephole, gets shot in the head. That's just fucking funny to me.
but yeah, I definitely do understand like where you're coming from about Saw 2. Just to me, it just didn't really click for me because of the characters. But the time has finally come to talk about my favorite, Saw 1. And I got the 4K edition, as you can see. I got the really nice slipcover
I have
with
the
Jigs.
steelbook. This beautiful
I'm so
steelbook.
jealous that you guys got that steelbook. Like, I don't have a Best Buy at my area, so I had to just get this from Walmart,
Look at
apparently.
that. It's gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, I love that steelbook, but I still, but at least for right now, I have the slipcover version. I really like the where it says, trying to see, greetings, welcome. I wanted to play a game on the slipcover right there, like inside Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I really like about this. But you just touched on Saw at your number 2, but for me, Saw was really the one that really kicked off this franchise. But the reason why this one's my favorite is because it was the formula for the rest of this franchise, and I really think like the rest, except for Spiral, just really copied off this movie a bit too much. Like, it felt like way too many rehashes, like just 6 more rehashes. Well, you could say Jigsaw is not really much for rehash, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were honestly more rehashes of the first one, in my opinion, because this one, like Spiral does, it relies more on the detective side of things and not just with the people trapped in there. Like and this is of course the trap that like the film that really introduced the reverse bear trap, like the most classic Saw trap of them all, the reverse bear trap. Like, it's so creepy seeing Jigsaw's face on screen, like in that little television screen. It's so creepy to me.
Yeah.
Like especially when he's like, "Hello, Amanda. You may not know me, but I know you. I want
The
to play a game."
the opening scene in general is just like it takes you by such a surprise. You're just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, you're just, it's one of the few movies where it throws you right in, and you're just like, okay,
Yeah,
let's go. It's not a movie that
exactly.
needs insane setup. You know, it's a movie that you hear what you need to hear, and you're like, okay, I'm along for the ride. Let's do it. You know,
Exactly. Like, I don't know. It really got me intrigued by that opening scene. But my only little problem with this movie is that I think it's a bit slow at times, and also sometimes the editing gets a little too lackluster. It just goes like, boom, 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 boom. But let's face it. I mean, the Saw films are mostly known for this kind of shenanigans, so we had to get used to it by this point, right? Like, you know, I still I get that, but Movies and Train Studios is back. He just had dinner. He says, I started Zack Snyder's Justice League for this time and I got to 230-minute mark because it was so entertaining. I gotta watch it soon. So I gotta watch Zack Snyder's Justice League.
you
But
haven't
let's get
seen
back to.
Justice League yet?
I haven't watched it yet because I didn't have HBO Max by the time it came out. But I'm just,
Uh,
because the movie's 4 hours long, I want to be able to find the right time for myself to fully sit down and actually get through the movie.
I watched
So
it when it came out, and it came out at 3 a.m. This was back when I was doing school at home during the pandemic. I say it like the pandemic is over, but back when I wasn't going to school, I really didn't care about my school, to be honest. So I was like, you know what, screw it. So I literally stood up till 3 a.m. to watch Justice League, and I sat through all 4 hours until 7 a.m. I sat there from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. just watching that movie because of how much I
yes,
was excited to see it.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Saw James Wan is an absolute master at horror. I think this is a really big thing that really started this franchise. But we hit over the hour mark, so I think we're just about gonna wrap it up here. So, um, and Movies Trade Studio says, I agree with you, Luke. Saw 1 is my favorite of the franchise, probably my favorite horror film of all time. Interesting. I think it's honestly top 10 for me personally. I think it's top 10 horror. But, Tyler, thank you so much for coming onto the channel and talking about some Saw with me. Where can we find you, my friend?
You guys can find me on YouTube at mind_of_a_nerd. Mind of a nerd. Just type in mind of a nerd, and it should be the first thing that comes up.
Hmm. I don't know what happened, guys, but oh yeah, okay, he's back. He's back in here. Apparently, it kicked me out for some stupid reason. But
I don't know.
I'll
I
try.
thought it had just ended.
No, it just kicked me out. But I'm just gonna ask the fans one more time, like where we can find you, so that way you can just like actually say it through one more time. So where can we find you, my man?
You can find me on Instagram. Type in the search bar "Mind of a Nerd." Should be the very first thing that comes up. I do reviews. I try to do reviews weekly. Took a bit of a break, but I'm back doing reviews weekly. I also post on my story, giving you the most honesty out of anyone in this community. Because let's be honest, there's some people in this community that sugarcoat a lot. That is not what my page is for. I give you true honesty, whether you want to hear it or not. But yes, that is where you can find me.
All right, and you guys, I was kind enough to, like I said at the beginning of the stream, to leave a link in the description below that goes to his Instagram. So go follow him and give him some love, and also go check out his written reviews on Instagram. He is awesome with those reviews. Like, I can't lie. No problem, my man. Like, I'm very happy to have you here. Um, one more comment. Movies and Train Studios says, I stopped watching Justice League right at the part 5 mark, and I recommend taking it after every 2 parts. Okay?
That's not the worst strategy with watching that. I know people that watched it in parts. My mom watched half of it and then didn't finish it. So I don't know what that says about my mom.
Wow.
But yeah, I know people that watched it in parts because it is very lengthy. So I don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long movie. I mean, funny enough, it's actually longer than The Irishman. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
could just
is.
watch that movie as a miniseries and not just like one full sitting. I watched it like one full sitting like one time, like back when it was out like on Netflix. But I can't really watch that as like one full sitting because my butt would hurt just sitting down like right on my bed just watching it. But once again, guys, you guys can also hit that subscribe button down below for my channel as well. And also make sure to click on that bell icon so you can make sure to get notified of every video I upload on the channel. And also hit that thumbs up on your way out as well. I got some more interesting content coming up for you guys. I'm hoping to see Shang-Chi this weekend. Again, got schedules like coming up ahead, so we got to make sure I go with the friend I'm going with to see it. So, but anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up. So once again, if you guys want to see more content from me, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.